Welcome to Just Talking About Jesus. I'm Jan Johnson, a seasoned believer who loves relationships and, just talking about Jesus.
I felt like just scum of the earth because, we find our value in things and money, and I had none of that. And God's like, trust me. And the verse at that time he kept giving me was, I'm doing a new thing in you.
Hey, everybody. So glad you're here again. I just want to say we are on retreat out on the Oregon coast with the ocean right behind us. So if it's a little breezy or a little gloomy in the background, that's on purpose, we promise. My guest today is a new friend, Trisha Nix. Our theme for this weekend retreat has been the wilderness. That season we all seem to walk through at some point, right? Whether it's forced on us or honestly, sometimes we walk right into it ourselves. Trisha's got a story about exactly that, plus a lot of hard-won wisdom about community, rest, and trusting God's timing. Trisha, thank you so much for being here. Let's get into it. Welcome, everybody, to this episode of Just Talking About Jesus, and we are on retreat. And I have a new friend, Trisha Nix. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we just got to be on the Oregon coast and got the ocean behind us. And I just thought that, we'd add that into here just to make it a little bit fun. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to be here and here. And the gloominess and the trees and the ocean and the birds. It's lovely.
Our topic for this retreat was wilderness, being in the wilderness, and, a little section that seems like we all go through at some point or another. And I know we just did an episode, a couple back, on the wilderness as well, too. But at any rate, Trisha, share us a little bit of your testimony.
Yeah. So as I was telling you before, my testimony is it's not this great story of how I came to Jesus. I didn't have a traumatic event or anything like that. My third grade teacher was my neighbor also. So she would come and pick me up and bring me to church. She brought me to Sunday school. She brought me to VBS. She brought me and paid for, because we were 5 kids, not a ton of money for extra activities and to go to church camp. And my third grade teacher sponsored me and said that somebody else in the church sponsored me. And so it was like, I think $50 to go to church camp then. And so
back in the day.
yeah. And so she really played a very special, pivotal part of my life. And I thank God for her, because my family wasn't, my mom believed, but we didn't go to church on a regular basis. And we definitely didn't hear the gospel in my home. And it, definitely I didn't feel like God was in our home. We had a lot of anger. And so it was a kind of a hostile environment that I grew up in. And so I just thank God for my third grade teacher. And I went to VBS. It was in the evening. And I remember, I don't know how old I was, but I was somewhere about 9, 10, somewhere around that age. And the pastor, a little small church in Louisiana, and the pastor, he's like, God is calling you.
Even then.
He said, he gave an invitation, little Baptist church. And he said, God is calling you, and you know exactly who you are. And I felt like my heart was going to beat out of my chest because I knew he was calling me. And it was very real. You think a 9, 10-year-old that maybe you're just being persuaded, but I wasn't. I knew God was calling me, and I accepted Christ that day. And he's always been with me since then. And I'm 47 years old. So he's been so sweet and he's been so faithful in my life. And I'm just so grateful.
I just think, and just a word to you people who are out there working with kids, I mean, don't think that what you're saying is not important. Even the experiences they're having there and the feeling the love that you got for them, whatever. It's just, I hear this story over and over again, how
Mhm.
people just, that's where they got saved,
Yeah.
and maybe throughout the years, they have kinda not thought about it or things happen, but when later on, it comes back and it's like, okay, and that's their foundation, so
Mhm.
don't stop, don't stop.
Yeah. Neighbor
And
bring people, invite people to church, your neighbors, your students, whatever, because, if they're in close proximity to you, those are the people God has given you to love
Mhm,
on and to be encouragers.
mhm.
And so, like, your circle of people where God's placed you, go
And
get them.
how was that for you then? So did you feel like, because you're not finding that at home,
Right.
so where did you kind of just hold on to that, or was it just like throughout later in life that you came to really having a real relationship with God
No, I mean, I think I had a real relationship with him from that
from the
moment
beginning, from that moment?
because what I would do is I've always been a creative person.
Mhm,
And so I would go hide away in my room and I would do creative things and I felt God in those moments.
mhm.
I would
Because he's a creator.
exactly. And so yeah, I mean, I would go color, I would write. I would write poems to him about him. And at that time I didn't know I was a creative person,
Mhm,
but yeah, I've always felt him very near to me
mhm.
since that moment.
Where had there been, any but God moments in your
Oh,
life?
man. Loaded question. There have been so many, and I think, the most important thing to understand about the walk with God is it's not easy. It's not always easy. Like you said, it's not a yellow brick road. But but God, he's with us and we have hope of what's to come. And I think in those moments, I'll give you one example. A couple years ago, I decided to move to Costa Rica. And I was living in Bend, Oregon. I decided to move to Costa Rica. I honestly did not seek God about that. It's what I wanted,
Seemed like a good idea at the
right?
time.
Like, "Ooh, Costa Rica, I'm gonna just go live there and
How was your Spanish?
un poquito." And so I just took it upon myself and did not consult God, and it just I got over there. I was teaching at a Christian school. And I just thought it was gonna be butterflies and rainbows, and it ended up not being that. The school was a little shady, and the weather was hot,
Hot
and
and
I
muggy.
am going through perimenopause,
Uh,
and I just like, "I cannot deal with this." And so I was there a couple of months, and I was, like, praying, "God, I have to go." Now granted, this is my but God. I sold everything I owned or gave it away. Clothes, living in Bend, Oregon, I had all the warm things.
uh-huh.
I sold my car because I planned my
Because I was gonna go and
Trisha's
stay.
plan. I was gonna go and be there for a long time, if not forever. And it didn't work out. I had nothing to my name, but I had a suitcase and a carry-on. And I got back a few months later, I went to my mom's because that's what you do, When you don't have a place to go and you don't have transportation, I had nothing. And I had very little money because the Christian school I was
Yeah,
teaching at was
didn't
more of a
get enough money.
ministry. And so I had nothing. And I was in the wilderness in that time of my life. So I would just sit in the backyard at my mom's and I would just sit in the chair all day in the sunshine. It was April, so it was nice weather, I could do that. Sit in the chair, read my Bible, pray, and I felt like I was hopeless
Mhm.
because
But any good story, that's where the change comes, right? I mean, any good fiction story, movie, whatever,
yeah,
it's like when it gets helpless, you go, "Oh, hopeless, now we know things."
yeah. I beat myself up for not praying and saying, "God, okay," like, seeking his will, and so that's the importance of that, but to make a long story short, I felt like just scum of the earth because we find our value in things and money, and I had none of that. And God's like, trust me. trust me. And the verse at that time he kept giving me was, I'm doing a new thing in you.
Mm.
It was repeated. So that's how a lot of times you know that God's speaking to you. He will repeat things if you don't get it the first time. He repeats in
Uh-huh.
so many different ways. And like we said last night, we know his voice because his sheep know his voice. And so you know when God's speaking to you. He ended up turning that situation around. I was able to get a car. I bought a car online. And at that time, I hadn't paid off my debt, so my credit was not that great. But God allowed that. He gave me the ability to get a car. I eventually got a place to stay back in Bend. I moved back to Bend. And he totally, you know, I asked for forgiveness. And he totally redeemed that situation. But that's just a small but God
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
And he restored and ended up meeting my husband. The following month, I moved back to Bend on Instagram by accident. That's a whole nother podcast. But just all that to say that, God's faithful
Mhm.
and he hasn't forgotten about you or your story, and he redeems even small things
You know,
like
I
that.
think I think God knows what the desire of our hearts is, and we think it might be a certain direction to get there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yet so we might just plunge out to on our way, toward whatever that desire is, and yet he's okay. I'm gonna wait for you because I know I know what the desire of your heart is, what your real true desire is, even though you think it looks like something else, and then he takes you through it, right? And
Mhm.
he gets you ready to have that actual, you know, desire.
Mhm. And I think just no matter the situation, no, he's with you and he's like welcoming you with
Mhm.
open arms and like nothing is unforgivable, other than
Right,
blasphemy in the
right,
Bible, but
right.
he can redeem. And so
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
yeah, yeah. That's just amazing how he does that. And over, it just, there's nothing, You look at people in the Bible, they're just like, how many people are even David, I mean, he redeemed David. You'd think that murdering somebody and covering things up was not gonna be okay,
Yeah.
which it wasn't, but he's still all kinds of people that he redeemed through there that are there for our example for,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. So where's God have you now?
Oh. So now I'm living in a place I never thought I would live. Southern California. It's never been on my radar. It's never been a place like, oh, I want to move to California, but that's where he has me. I met my husband, like I said, online by accident, total. And so he has 2 kids, so I moved to California to support him in that way. And it's been a very hard transition
Mm,
because he pulled me from here, from Oregon, the place that I absolutely like. Oh, my heart beats, for this place. And so I've had to transition away from friends and that community that I've built there into now trying to build a community here. And the Lord just opened up a door at church to lead the women's events at my
mm,
church. And so I'm getting into that. And that's, one of the things that he's teaching me now is no matter where we are, we need a circle of
mhm,
close people, of other believers and also non-believers, because we need to edify and encourage
mhm.
people who don't believe too. We need to have
Yeah,
that influence and to share the good news.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
all people.
yeah.
And so yeah, let's what he's really been teaching me, because the last year and a half is I have really concentrated on my new marriage and new stepkids, family, and I've given them everything and I've lost myself in that.
Yeah.
And how easy is that to do as women? And so God's like, Trisha, no, like your home is your foundation. Yes, it needs to be good. You need to start there, but you also need to feel a small circle of women that you can encourage and they can encourage you. And like that,
Yeah, it's a
how
two-way.
important that is.
Mhm.
And because like people need you, and we are. Not that we're all that, like, "Oh, they need me," but, like
No. But everybody has their own story
Mhm.
to add to the
Mhm.
whole,
Yeah,
they're all different, but they're all the same in a way too. And
yeah,
I think God places you in a certain place at a certain time for
such a
that
time.
message, and I think the coming too, but leaving everything, that's a Ruth story,
Yeah,
you know? I mean,
true.
forsake everything and where you go, I'll go. I did the same thing.
Yeah,
Left all my family, all my church, my people, whatever to do something
yeah,
else and
yeah, and it's, like, no one has your voice.
mhm,
Nobody can impact another person the way you
mhm,
can. Nobody has your story. Nobody has your mannerism, and people need that. Other women need that from us.
mhm.
And so, like, we're vessels. And so, if we can all get to a place where we can just say, like, "Palms up, Lord, like, I'm yours, use me."
Mhm.
And so, yeah, so that's where God has me now. He's teaching me about expanding my circle and not like, yes, foundation home is there, but we need other women.
And all of that, I think, goes back to a couple of things. One is our identity.
Mhm.
Are we holding is just our family our identity and what
Yeah,
we're wrapped in? But that also comes with what are those voices that we're hearing and thinking we need to act on, like, oh, well, a good wife is going to do
right,
this, a
right.
good mom is going to do this, a good whatever it is to fit into somebody else's norm or idea or expectation and things and that forms to where we need to step back and just say, God, is this what do you want me to be? Right? What do you want me to be and who do you want me to how do you want me to serve you and what does that really look like?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm reading this book. I bought it at a thrift store for like a buck. And the cover spoke to me because my handle on Instagram is like Wonder Woman with an A. And the name of the book was I'm Not Wonder Woman, but God Made Me Wonderful. Is
Uh,
by Sheila Wash.
uh-huh.
And so I've
Yeah.
been reading that and man, she talks about taking off our cape and our boots and our Wonder Woman headband and taking all the which represent, like, all the tasks that we do, all the things that we feel like we have to do
Mhm.
as women, like keeping a house clean. It could be the cape of shame, it could be guilt, could be whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
Take all that off and exchange it for redemption, forgiveness, for peace, for, those things that are of God,
Yeah.
not from the pressures of the world.
And you end up striving. I mean, God doesn't want us to be striving. He wants us
It's
to
easy.
be at rest.
His yoke is easy, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
His
He
burden's
wants
light.
us to be at rest, to be, and if you are truly where he wants you to be, you're going to know that because you're at rest. Yeah. You're
Mhm.
going to feel at rest.
Yeah.
And
It's reminds me of the I don't know, I Love Lucy fans. I love that show, but there's a scene where they are in a chocolate factory
mm,
and there's like have an assembly line and it starts out Lucy and Ethel are like, "Oh, this is nothing. I got this." And so they're wrapping the chocolates and they're on a conveyor belt and then it gets
it
faster.
gets faster.
And they're just like before you know it, they're stuffing them in their mouth and pockets and they're just like and that reminded me of, like this Wonder Woman mentality that we think we have to do it all and that we can, and the world just keeps on pushing it on us like the conveyor belt and it gets harder and it gets faster and we're not called to that.
Mhm.
God did and she says this in the book, God did not call us to be Wonder Women. He called us just to be with him and to be used by him.
Mhm.
And it's really simple.
Yeah. 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 And I think sometimes eh, you feel a call from God sometimes to do a certain thing and you don't know you kinda wanna make it happen. It's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, is this what it's supposed to look like? I'm gonna jump
Mhm.
ahead," instead of just sitting back and going, "Okay, you show me if that's what you want me to do.
Yeah.
Show me what it's gonna be like one step at a time so to do it your way and not
Mhm.
mine because I might be 2 steps forwards and about 3 back."
Like I was with Costa Rica, yeah.
Uh-huh.
was not where God wanted me. And God's like, okay, Trisha, I'm going to let you go because that's what you want. And I love you. And he
Uh-huh.
is gracious,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
He's a
yeah,
gentleman.
yeah.
But
But maybe he needed to strip you from all of those things too, you know?
and also, yeah, strip me from the pride and the worldly things, when you have nothing and then God gives it all back and then some. And uh
Job.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
And then you're just like, that's the thing is he is faithful. He is with us. He hears our cry.
Yeah. Unfailing love.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm gonna guess the way he gives things back to you were not the same.
No, they were
Because
better.
because he changed, I'm guessing, changed your heart
Yep.
as to who you were before. And so the things that you had, maybe those weren't important anymore.
Right.
Maybe those were not the things, you know.
Mm-mm. Things, they're just
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And
But he
so,
restored your soul, and that's of all things, it's not the things that he
yeah,
needed to restore.
yeah.
It's who he wanted you to be and to realize, I gotcha, right?
And when you have nothing and you only have God and you honestly feel like you're empty. I mean, you have God, but like I was sitting in the chair at my mom's and just feeling like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to be homeless and I'm not going to have a car. The devil really preyed on me in that moment, in that wilderness. I'm going to be nothing. And that's what he was saying. You're never going to be anything
Mm.
because you just go on a whim and you do what you want to do. And you're worthless. And that's what he was saying. You're not going to be able to find a job. You're not going to be able to get a car. You're going to be living here at your mom's. And it's like, no, thank God I had a woman speak into me. She was an author and she spoke into me and it gave me hope. And so that's the importance of a
Mhm.
community of women.
Yeah.
And so now, like, I've traded I traded my cape, my boots, my Wonder Woman headband.
Take it out.
And now I'm in that season of life where I'm like, okay, Lord, you've stripped me. You continue to strip me of everything that I want to be or that I thought it would be. And now, like, God, please, like, give me the gifts and talents you want me to have so I can help build your kingdom. So I like give me the gifts you want me to have.
Mhm.
Let me just lead me and show me. And I think that's a good prayer. Like if you're watching and you feel like, no, you have no purpose or no sense of worth or no value, or maybe you feel like I did.
Mhm.
You're sitting there with nothing, like I'm never gonna be anything. The devil's telling you that, but um you do have God.
Mhm.
And he is in those trenches and he's in the valley with you, even though it doesn't feel that way. Feelings are not facts and feelings are fickle. But the word of God stands forever and it never changes. And he's with you. And so ask him instead of wallowing, just ask him, okay, God, like show me the gifts and talents that you would have me to carry out today. Just start with today. And the people that you place around me, the community, the neighbors that you put around me today, how can I impact them for your kingdom? And he will, because, what is it, Jeremiah 33 or Jeremiah
Yeah.
30?
The plans.
Oh,
Or
no, I'm
no,
thinking of call to me and I'll answer
oh,
you. And I'll show you great and mighty, or some versions say hidden, mystery, mysterious things that you don't know. And so God will answer when you call. It may not be right away. It may not be when you want it, but he does answer if you're still long enough,
yeah.
which is what this retreat is about, and you listen.
Yeah. 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 I think that's key. And it's not like he is going to necessarily answer you just right away
Yeah.
on things too. And so you just be patient. You just like if you're in a wilderness part or something and you just maybe need to just sit in that. Maybe that's a time to just stay in it. Okay, I know that you're gonna be here and I'm gonna trust that and I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on you, Lord, until you show me exactly what to do. And when he does, you're gonna know for sure what it is.
And
And meanwhile, you just keep going day by day and looking for those opportunities that God's gonna put in your like because sometimes maybe in your imagination it's gonna be Costa Rica, you know? But it's maybe just that little encounter that you have throughout the day or some kind of thing, Or maybe just
Yeah.
somebody you're praying for or whatever. I mean, those
And
things that seem little aren't little,
yeah,
you know?
and when you're, in that wilderness to, like, embrace it because you can look back. You can look back a year from now and be like, "Okay, God, I see your hand now. You can't see it now,
Mhm.
but you can see it later." And, this too shall pass.
Mhm. Mhm.
This too shall pass. So embrace it and, like, feel all the feelings and cry and, because it's going to pass.
It's going
Nothing.
through the valley
Mhm.
because on the other side, there is another side.
You will
And it
smile
may be
again.
a long maybe a long valley, a long, hard thing, whatever. I think that's the
Mhm.
beauty of journaling because then you
Yep,
can look back and see what your milestones are, where God has taken you, and,
for
you know,
sure.
from a different perspective later on to look back and yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, just the other day, I was at the hotel in Eugene, and I was looking through my journal or no, my Bible, and the I
Little
had
notes on the
written
side.
a note in my Bible and, the date, and it was 1 month before I met my husband. It was during that wilderness season, I had wrote it was, gosh, what scripture was that? Anyway, I wrote, "Lord, don't let me settle for less than a man like this."
Mm.
It was when, Boaz, when he kept
Oh,
pursuing
uh-huh.
Ruth and he pursued her. And I always said, I am not going to go after a man. I'm not a flirty type of person. I'm not going to chase anybody. And I wrote, Lord, don't let me settle for less. And I put the date.
Yeah.
And 1 month later is when I met my husband. And, I didn't pursue him. It was accident that we met. And then he pursued.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, power of journaling and writing those things down that God does for you and you can go back and like, he was faithful then,
Yeah.
he's going to be faithful again.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
mhm.
Any last things you wanna leave with our audience?
I think, those 3 things, build your community, fill your circle, get close to somebody in your church or wherever, whoever God's placed you around you. And then, yeah, slow down,
Slow down.
put away trade your cape boots and your Wonder Woman mask for the things of God. And then, yeah, just ask God to use you.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause that's why we're here, to love God and to love people.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely. Bottom line, right?
yep, love God,
Yeah.
love people.
Yeah. Trisha, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was such a joy. I'm so happy I've met you now, a new
I
friend.
know. I know. Thank you. Hey, Trisha, thank you so much for your honesty and vulnerability today. Thanks for reminding all of us that not every testimony needs a dramatic before and after to be powerful, and that God is just as present in a quiet third grade classroom as he is in a wilderness season we walk into ourselves. Oh boy, yeah. If you're in your own in between season right now, I hope you heard what Trisha said. Build our community, slow down, simply ask him to use you. That's the bottom line. Love God, love people. Trisha, thanks so much for that conversation. I'll leave you with these 3 scriptures. Isaiah 43:19. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. Jeremiah 33:3. Call to me and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. And Matthew 11:29-30. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And to everyone in my audience, wherever you are, thanks for being here with us on this coast today. And until next time, just keep talking about Jesus. Do you have a friend or relative that would find value in this episode? Please share it. And you can let them know that if they'd prefer to watch, I always put these episodes on YouTube. So check that out in the show notes. And if you watch on YouTube, consider subscribing, because just as when you subscribe to this podcast and get notification when new episodes are out, the same will happen if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just talking about Jesus. And then you won't miss an episode. Speaking of subscribing, are you getting my newsletters? These not only tell the guest stories, but also include pictures and links to the website and YouTube. I also add a little about my life, and who doesn't want to know that?